All right, but go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've been kayak fishing competitively.
Competitively, all right. So I'm pretty sure I tried thinking about this earlier today. I think my first season was in 2018, maybe 2017, but I'm pretty sure it was 2018. Started out with MAKB. I'll tell you how I found MAKB.
Mm.
This is kind of funny. I was driving by, so I'm from Taunton, Lake Sabbatia, Bay Road. Drive by it every day, and I remember at that point in time I was obsessed with fishing. I was in my kayak all the time. I had a little Pelican sit in, and probably driving by Lake Sabbatia with a kayak on the top of my roof. And I noticed a whole bunch of kayaks all over the Lake Sabbatia. Like, what the hell was that? So many of them. And then this is when Fish Brain was kind of getting popular, or was popular at the time. For the guys who didn't understand spot burning yet, I saw Gerard Elias. He had posted on Fish Brain about catching fish, and I was like, oh, I think at that point in time he had a bright yellow Hobie kayak. So I was like, hey, did I see you guys on Lake Sabbatia today? And he's like, yeah. Oh, what was going on? He's like, oh, Massachusetts Kayak Bass, and it's a tournament thing. And I was like, oh, no way. So then I was like, oh, okay. So then I signed up for MAKB, and the rest is history.
Have you fished any other trails while doing MAKB at the same time?
I was pretty loyal. I mean, I remember after Gerard had mentioned MAKB, I had looked online. Any Bassin popped up. They were popular. I never got into it just because I saw like you had to get a membership and all this stuff. And I was like, it's for the birds. And I just fished MAKB. I think first couple seasons, maybe my second season, I jumped into like OSKB when they started out, but I was pretty loyal to MAKB and KBF. I think I joined both of them right away. I think like hand in hand, just because I couldn't get enough of it.
So you mentioned you had like a sit-in kayak. What was your first official fishing kayak?
It was, I think, in like 2015 or 16. I had bought my girlfriend, now wife. We had went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and there's just these, we were looking at them. We are like, oh, this seems cool. It was like I don't remember, it wasn't a Sun Dolphin, it wasn't a Pelican, but it was just like your run of the muck, like, I don't know, little 9-foot sit in, 30-pound plastic boat with the most uncomfortable seat that you spent hours in. Then like a little tackle box with bungees that went around it. So we're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And I was in it all the time. It was on the top of my car from ice out to ice up.
Mm.
And it was a simpler time, that's for sure.
Yeah, did you start out winning and competing for the top right away, or was there a learning curve?
So I have the type of personality that when I jump into something, I am so inundated and I am so obsessive and focused on it. I remember my first couple tournaments, I got beat really bad. I think I caught one fish my first tournament, and I'm looking at these guys that are always at the top. I'm like, oh, Bruce, and I'm trying to think of the old guy, the old like Don
Mm.
and Kevin Amaral, and I was just like, man, I'm sick of tired of losing to these guys, right? So it was just the beginning of just being obsessed, of understanding everything and just figuring it out. And for some it comes more natural than others, and I don't know, I just put my head down and kept my line wet, and then I started turning around, placing in the top 10, which I was, stoked on, right? That's it's baby steps, and then
Mm.
it's history from there.
Would you say there was a specific moment you're like, all right, like I actually figured this out. I think I could actually compete with some of these other names.
I think it was never about, to me, it was never about competing against names. It was always like myself. Why didn't I do better? Like my decisions affected in my own head, I was never, the drive was never to be the best, never to win all of them. It's just, I need to do as best I can. And if I don't do well, I need to figure out why the hell I didn't. So that's kind of been my mindset.
Nice. Yeah, so let's talk about this fundraiser, which I mean, I'm surprised it's not up, but I think it's gonna hit it. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, I would love to get some traction on this. With the closing of MAKB, and the way that they ran their finances, it didn't pan out to where they had enough money for trophies. There's 30 trophies involved for last year's season, and it's a lot of money. So there was no movement on whether or not the winners and the angler of the years were going to get their stuff. So I had mentioned soon after, if I were to start a fundraiser, would people donate? So that was a couple months ago. It's been a bit, but now, I got traction. I started a GoFundMe. Basically, I reached out to another angler who makes really quality things. He's done trophies in the past for other tournament trails, Rob Pagnano. I figured it'd be really cool to be able to start a fundraiser for the people who deserve the trophies that they didn't get them last year. That's everybody. That's everybody who won an event, the angler of the year for each division, the champion, and the overall angler of the year. So everybody will get what they're deserved. We just need to raise that funds. I mean, I'm trying to do with the donation, you'll be entered in a raffle to get. As of right now, I don't have much. If people are willing to donate, gift cards or something, or I don't know, anything to put towards this raffle so we can try to get some movement for this. And I guess last case scenario is that if we are losing traction and it doesn't look like we're going to do it, I'm willing to forego. I did win some trophies last year. 5 of my trophies, I won't get them, so everybody else can. This isn't, about me. This is about all of the anglers that I think truly deserve the trophies, because trophies are essentially memories. If it's, somebody with a young kid, yeah, your dad hangs a trophy on the wall. His friend walks in. Your friend goes, "My dad won that. He's a really good angler." And it's a feel good feeling. So, I'm trying to do that. So if you guys could go to the Mass Kayak Bass page, has the link. The Kayak Angler Series has the link. Yeah, please go to the donation page and give whatever you can. It goes a long way. We're about $600 out of 1,700. Mind you, there's 30 different trophies. So it's kind of a big feat, but I think we could do it, and I really hope we can.
Yeah, we're gonna attach a link to this the video at the bottom of it. But yeah, 1,700. Everybody donates $50. It's only 35 anglers.
Yeah,
There's
I
30
mean,
people with the trophies. Not well.
right.
Some people
It's
get
not bad.
multiple.
$50 is a lot of money. $10, we could chip away at it, and I'll keep this up for as long as I possibly can.
For sure, yeah, man. I mean, there's no doubt once the events start going up, maybe we run a couple 50/50s at the ramp or even online. Like there's no doubt about it that at some point we're gonna reach that goal and everybody's gonna get their trophy. Because you're right. I mean, it is important. It's a memory, but a lot of those guys that are getting it this year, well, they probably didn't get one the last year or the year before. It might be their first one ever, and
Right,
they might never
exactly.
win one. So this could be the only opportunity. So hey, I mean,
Yeah.
I love the idea, and I know there's a bunch of anglers that are definitely jumping on. I think maybe because it's the winter and things are not picking up, but I think once the season starts and everybody's back into it and all the kayaks are on the water, I think it'll pick back up.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so. I mean, MAKB was the jam, If you won an event with MAKB, you at any point in time, you're going up against some of the best anglers in Massachusetts. So it's something to, not shake a stick at. It's something to be proud of. So hopefully we can get those tokens, to the people that deserve them.
Yeah, for sure, man. That money comes and goes, but that trophy's forever. Do you want to tell us how you felt about MAKB closing?
Yeah, I'm bummed. I really am. I mean, if you think about it, MAKB was huge. It gave anglers something to do every weekend, all spring to fall. It didn't matter. Like, if you wanted to fish, you could at any point in time. Every weekend you could fish. And then there was, last year wasn't the best year for like Thursday night throwdowns or specialty events, but there was always something going on. And the coolest part about that was it was always going towards one thing. Now that it's no longer, we have these factions, right? Not derogatory at all, but it's just, it was nice to be able to go to Western Mass just because I wanted to wet a line. I'm just dying to fish. And then that could go towards my overall angler of the year, for the whole thing. So it was great. And then, obviously there's a community, there's, everybody that you met, everybody you see at the ramp. It's still great. And I believe I'm speaking for everybody. A lot of people are really bummed out about that. Do I think it could have stayed alive? Yes. But now there's other opportunities. There's more trails. There's too many trails. They're everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely an implosion when MAKB closed. I mean, it's probably the first time I felt anxiety in a little while. Be like, oh my God, it was like empty. Like, what am I going to do with all this time and energy? And it's not just the events on Saturday. It's like the constant text messages with everybody all week. And it's like checking the reports. And it's like, it took
Yeah.
so much time and energy. And then to think that wasn't going to be there. I honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, this was kind of
Yeah.
like the catalyst for the podcast. I was saying it last year. I was like, I got to do something because like I don't know
Yeah. Yeah.
what's going to be out there. And then little did we know, Torrance already had it ready to go. I don't know if you listened to his
Yeah,
interview.
his was in the chamber.
Yeah, he knew whether, yeah, even if it wasn't, he said he was going to do it because he was trying to create that tournament with no forward facing sonar. He thinks that, not,
True,
I don't want to
very
say it
yeah.
negatively, but he sees that there might be a niche with that. And I mean, I hope it takes off. I'll definitely do a couple.
Yeah. There's just so much to choose from. And I guess also the MAKB page closing. Like, I wish I could go to one place on the internet and put a finger on the pulse and ask a question and reach out, because now there's 4 different pages. Now you gotta, if you want, to reach out to all the anglers in Massachusetts, you gotta go to
Yeah.
4 different places. And then some people get upset that you're posting on multiple pages. I do miss MAKB for what it was.
Hey, you put it correctly earlier when you said factions. Like the way you make it, the way you put it right there, it's right. It's like everybody's still there. They're just in different groups now.
Right. And you used to be able to fish essentially the same tournaments, but all go towards one thing. But that's a little different.
So, did you have a goal last year going into the season, and how did your season end?
Last year was nuts. I had no goals. I just wanted to fish. I had a bug last year. And I didn't even pay attention, to any Angler of the Year points for 75% of the year. It was insane. I came away with 6 wins and a regional angler of the year. And 90% of those wins, I was just fishing. Like and everything was so polar opposite. I mean, I started, I went to Lake George to fish with the Adirondack because Lake George is one of the best. Like, I don't know. It's just, I couldn't make a wrong decision last year, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you took the win at Lake George last year too.
Yeah, I took the one. The last probably 10 times I've fished that lake, I have not caught less than 90 inches. I'm not like, the place is amazing. Like, it's one of my favorite places on earth. But no real goals. I just, fishing is an escape for most of us. And just to have an opportunity to fish a tournament every weekend, you do put pressure on yourself. It's mental, but it's also so much fun. And then when you're in an element where you got momentum and you're just making right decisions, yeah, you're on cloud 9. Last year was an unbelievable season. My season ended pretty good. I mean, I got regional angler of the year. I thought, so probably 3/4 of the way through the season, I was like, holy smokes, I have 4 wins. 2 of them are regionally. Like, I have a shot at AOI. And then I realized, I dug into the AOI point system. I'm like, oh, wow, in my opinion, this is all my opinion. It kind of put pressure in a place where it took a little bit of fun out. Now I'm like, oh, now I have to perform, right? I'm so close to angler of the year. I have 4 wins. I think that's the most wins a season anybody's ever had. It's like, I if I don't get angler of the year, it was all for nothing. But it's just, that's what fish. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Goals, yeah, get a limit. Get a limit every tournament you enter. That is the best goal you can have. And then don't be miserable. If it's not fun, then don't do it.
Yeah, you definitely. I say it multiple times. I say it off air, on air. I think you're one of the top 10 in the state. Honestly, I mean, I know people don't like the accolades, but there's certain names you see in tournaments when you enter. You're like, all right, I got to bring my A game. You're definitely up there. Anthony Campbell, Steven Petrovich, like these dudes,
Listen,
they consistently win.
I feel the same way no matter what tournament I enter. You got to bring your A game no matter what, because that's the thing with fishing. It's skill, right? Some people say it's 75% skill, 25% luck. Others think it's 50% skill, 50% luck. Every dog has its day, I'll tell you what. So you could be going up, and it's happened time and time again. Guy rolls up in a sit-in and smokes everybody. Like, we have these, incredibly rigged kayaks, and, this guy he's on one that day, and he just does everything right. And he, jumps into the right group of fish. So, I mean, to be classified as one of the best anglers in Massachusetts, I don't think so. Maybe consistency. Consistency is a bigger thing. If I'm, classified as a consistent Massachusetts angler amongst Derek Brundle, Matt Conant, Anthony Campbell, like, the list goes on. There are so many of them. So that's why it's so crazy. And when you sign up for these tournaments, who you're going up against, and if you take first place, like, that's huge. So that's why, shout out to the trophy fundraiser again, because it's a big.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been part of MAKB for 2 years, but I mean, you always seem to be in it. Like, whether it's out west or east or any of the centrals, you always seem to be right there.
You got to think of it too. You're a guy who's dedicated and obsessed, and you're out there every weekend and you're fishing every tournament. In 5 years, in a place like Massachusetts or even other places where they have larger bodies of water, like upstate New York, if you've hit a body of water 10 times, pretty okay. Even if you hate it, you have a better shot at somebody who's just started, just because for the most part, the lay of the land. So I guess I'll admit, part of my consistency is probably because I've fished most of these places, 100, not 100 times, but a lot,
For sure.
just like most of us.
Yeah. And they're small lakes. You can only go around them so many times in an event.
Right, exactly.
So is there a reason why you chose Mass Bass Kayak Angler Series over some of the other ones that are popping up?
There are a couple reasons. I could start off with Jeremy Andrews is a fantastic guy, 100% really into supporting anything, a trail he does. So I could start off with that, and then it's bass, right? That's kind of it. You get those things. I trust Jeremy, and then it's bass, and it's I don't care where the schedule is. I'll fish anywhere. That's basically it. I can dedicate a lot of time, and then the reward is potentially going to, the championship or whatever for the real bass. I can't say not real bass, but the actual
Kayak
championship. Yeah.
kind of nice. Feels like there's a little bit more on the line with MABASS.
Yeah,
Like a little bit
for
more
sure.
pressure. But $100, you're gonna, I mean, it's 50 to 100. We're in $1,000 kayaks. Like we're just $50 is nothing. But I think that'll weed out some of the people who might not be as serious. But yeah, that incentive for the end of the season is to get your shot at the national championship. It's pretty cool.
Right, absolutely. And it's a cool title to have, like Mass Bass Nation. How do you say it? What even is it? But to have that Angler of the Year, it sounds, and I think it holds a little more weight than just, like any other AOI. Not necessarily, it sounds cooler. I'm not saying the actual weight is more, but no.
Yeah, you have any plans for doing any of the I know Kissimmee was just a couple weekends ago. You have any plans for doing any of the national trail?
Probably not this year. I don't think so. I really wish I could, or I can. It's just I don't think it's in my cards. I think it's stay local, do my thing here. My kids are getting older, so it's a lot harder now just to leave for a week. I travel with work. So also, the bass schedule is tough for me because it's, Florida, Texas, everything's pretty far away. The same group of guys that used to travel together and rent houses and made it logistically easier. It's not the same anymore. So that's kind of part of it too, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So I also want to touch base on with Mass Bass is that one thing I like about them is that the championship's going to be in mid-August. So, I mean, the reasoning for that being is because we have to have all of our names submitted by September 1st for the national championship they're doing in October. But
right,
it kind of, if you're one of these guys that want to do multiple trails, you could potentially hit 2 different championships for each trail, do one in mid-August and then, either Ari's or Torrance's or Ben's Tackle Shack in late September, early October.
I didn't even think about that. In my head, I was just thinking like, oh, it ends early. That's cool. That just means more fun fishing. I don't have to worry about practicing for a tournament or the stress of a tournament. I could just go anywhere I want and, hammer them because, that end of summer, fall transition, fall is some of the best fishing, in my opinion. So I don't know. I thought it was cool that it ends early.
Is that your favorite time of the year?
I don't have a time anymore. I've thought about it. I thought I loved preseason, spring, early spring, but like it all depends on the year. I've had outrageous, phenomenal days on the water every day of the year, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I guess predicting patterns and stuff is a lot more, you know what? It's not. If you have a grasp on the predictable patterns are all year round, I don't know. I love it all, man.
For sure. Is there any one that you prefer? Like if you say it, if I could fish this season all year round, take away the weather factor, just the bite.
I don't think so. That is so tough. Because, you got spring, right? They're feeding up, and then you get spawn. And then, so where they're feeding, you can figure it out pretty easy. Spawning, you got bed fishing. And then in the summer, you could either fish deep or you could punch mats. somewhere in the grass, and then it's like the reverse in fall. I don't know. It's hard for me to answer that. I don't think I can, honestly, just because if you're at the right place at the right time is make your year.
Yeah, I feel like I struggle in the winter just because I don't think I've ever been on the water December, January, February in a kayak fishing for bass. So
You
I
know
do
what?
it from the shore,
Actually,
but
I didn't mention winter because I don't consider that a season because the fishing can absolutely suck. So winter is probably everybody's least favorite season. But also, if you're on open water, I mean, John's Pond's on the Mass Bass kayak schedule. We had it was January, no, it was New Year's Eve. We had a cold water tournament. I had like a 20, a 19, an 18, and then a 22. And I was like, holy smokes, I have 4 fish. And then I was like, I got lunker for sure. Matt Conan got a 22 and a quarter.
mm,
Like the place just has them. And that was, that was New Year's Eve. It was winter. It's just, if you, if you can figure it out and find them, then you could catch giants.
it's a perfect transition into the trail. Is John's is the first spot. You know that technically of all four, and I say Ben's, T-backs, and MCATs or something, Massachusetts.
MCAT, Randy Blockett Trail.
Yeah. That's the only spot down the Cape is John's
I
Pond.
know.
So it's
I
kind
was
of like
kinda
weird
bummed about
because
it.
usually that dominates at least 3 or 4 spots.
Well, I pinned everything on the map today for Mass, and it's spread all out. At first, when I saw the season, I was like, oh man, it kind of caters to out west, whatever. But if you pin it and look at the map, the Johns Pond is the outlier out east, and then you get a couple out west, and you get some towards Boston, and then you get some centrally located. So it's spread out really well. But just because it's in our backyard, it's kind of a bummer that we don't have more. But it kind of it suits the state
Yeah.
where
How do you
it's
feel
a good
about
schedule.
John's Pond in April starting the season out?
I love Johns Pond every month of the year. Winter, that's one of I've had some incredible days at John's. I fun fish there when I get a chance. Like it's a great place to fish. If you go there during the summer, you're going to deal with a lot of boat traffic. So try to pick a weekday if you do it, but it's fun all year round. There's just absolute giants.
I think last year you took first when we were
I
there,
did.
correctly? Yeah.
Yep.
I think Anthony was up there. I think he took second. He was actually in my spot, not to
No,
play off of
I
that.
jumped Ben. You know what? I feel this Ben, how he was in first all day, and I was just chipping away at the leaderboard. And like 3/4 through the day, I get like a 17 and it bumps me up. And I'm just like, I'm stoked, right? I feel bad. But like, I bumped him out. And like, yeah, all day you're in the first. And it's happened to me a ton of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Like 90% of the time, if you see me on the leaderboard first thing in the morning, I'm getting bumped out in the afternoon and I'm pissed about it. But it's how things go. Man, I'm going to tell a fish story. I hooked into a trout eater there that was bigger than 8 pounds. It was the biggest fish I've ever had on the end of my line. And if I would have caught that, I would have blown him out of the water. But that place is it's phenomenal.
During the tournament, you hooked into that fish?
Oh, yeah. I have it on GoPro, but GoPro, has a super wide field of view and it just doesn't do it any justice. But man, I'm not saying it was a 10-pounder. It would have been my Massachusetts PB, and I've caught some pretty good fish.
What is your PB in the state?
In the state is, I think, 22. So I haven't broke 23, but I've had several fish over 7 pounds. So, I mean,
Outside of the state?
no, in the state.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what my record is outside of the state. I caught a 22.75 in South Carolina, and I didn't have a scale. And it was pre-spawn too. It was all of 8 pounds, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely heard that story, that fish story. I think I heard it at the boat ramp and
At the boat ramp, I think I came in with it. Yeah. Man, that thing was a trout eater. And every time I go back, I think I'm going to catch it.
how do you
But
think
I
you
never
lost
do.
it?
Oh, he just so I was shaking a minnow, no secret there. And he bit, and then I don't I got him all the way to the boat, and he took a dive at the boat, and I just lost tension. I think I had just him skin hooked, you get a small drop shot hook, like a size 1 owner jungle shot HD or whatever. Maybe it wasn't HD, but anyways, he just came unpinned, and he said, see you later. That's how it goes.
Yeah, John's gonna be interesting. Matt was the first one to sign up for Mass Bass in the state.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah. The
I
first
texted him and he said, he goes, "I'm trying to beat Bruce Levy's record on day one at John's Pond." I said, "I'll be pulling for you, but I mean, he could do it." And
it's possible.
yeah, he catches. Like I said, he got he's gotten two big ones in competition at John's, but I think he got a 22.75 in competition. Another. Matt's a hammer. Matt just
Oh, Matt's unbelievable.
crushes
Like
him.
he's whenever he's but you can't think like that. You can't like in my head I'm like, yeah, Matt's unbelievable. He's almost impossible to beat, but you can't. It's you against them. You against the water.
For
It's
sure.
not if you think about the other anglers like, "Oh, what's Matt doing?" Um you're going to let them beat you over and over. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
God, Matt's yeah, he's a tough one to beat. He's a tough cookie, man.
Great dude. Have you fished Tully? Is that
I have
your
not.
okay?
That's one of the few lakes I haven't fished. I know. I think Todd Brothers did pretty well last season, right?
Yep,
He
first
had
place.
over 90 inches.
Yep. It was a tough event. The water level was down 7 feet.
Oh, that's the one. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
It
Yeah,
exposed
yeah.
a lot. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's like a bass haven. It seems like anywhere you look, there's like a torn up log, there's stumps over here, there's a big dip, there's a flat, there's a point. It was just, and you got to see it all down. See, like for me, I'm excited for that one because I want to go back.
You caught a giant, right?
I did. I got the lunker for that one. I
Nice.
didn't do well. I think I only had 3 fish on the day. And you just get in those modes where you're like, all right, I'm just gonna like I threw a swim jig on with the paddle tail and I'm like, I'm just gonna bounce it along, like, points and this and that. And he swirled on it and Winston saw it. It was 5.7, 5.71. But yeah,
Nice.
it was a good fish. I do well on the jig. I have a jig tied on all year round. I never take it off.
I have 3 jigs tied on all year round every time I go out. Just it's my favorite bait. So like I've just had tremendous success on it. And sometimes it's slow, but you get big fish and it just takes a lot to focus. I know a lot of people love jigs, but then there's a lot of people who don't utilize the jigs. Like I said, like 99% of the time I have 3 different jigs tied
What are your
on
3
any boat.
specific? Do you like, is it
I'm a Beast Coast junkie.
I fucking
So
love Beast Coast?
uh, they are my favorite jigs,
Yes.
no matter what jig they make. So I'll always have the open water sniper for scoping, and I don't or yeah, mainly for scoping. It comes through rock pretty well, not for grass. Then I'll have their little baby dozer. Um, if I'm dragging, that's what I'm dragging, and then their little magnums is the one that I'll have 900% of the time.
Yeah.
Their little magnums, depending, like half ounce to 3/4, they flip. I that's where I won most of my tournaments this year was on a little magnum. Flipping or putting in grass, skipping docks, just like they can't be beat. Like the owner BKK, not the owner, the BKK hooks they have on them stay incredibly sharp. I am a big, small package jig guy. Like I've kind of stopped using full size jigs. Just the tungstens, it just you can't beat them. Like I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. I'm not sponsored or anything by them. They're great guys. They're from Connecticut. You're supporting local. Like, plus you can't beat them.
Yeah, I look forward to the fishing expo every year because I go up there and buy my jigs.
Yeah, buy them in bulk right there.
I usually get 4. I get 2 big, 2 small, and that lasts me all year.
You're nuts. You don't throw it enough.
I have it on 50-pound braided. I bring it with me every event. You'll see it. I use that bluegill pattern.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't fish it a lot in shallow, weedy, this, that. It's more of like target specific. Like if I know there's a log or a stump there, I'll flip it over after
yeah.
using other bait. Like it's very uncommon. I mean, I've done it throughout full events, but it's very uncommon for me to keep that jig in my hand the whole time.
I gotcha. I focus a lot on a jig. I flip a lot, or if I'm scoping, like that, the open water snipers in my hand, and I'll beat it up. My hook will, bend out slightly, get dull. The strands of the skirt will go away. I've restranded some of my jigs. I usually I buy bulk at the beginning of the season. I'm probably halfway through the season. I probably still have a ton, but like I lose them in rock. I lose them in dog. That just happens. I'm a fluoro guy, like for flipping, like a lot of stuff, unless I'm punching grass. So I do break off every once in a while, which is a shame because I think there's mojo in baits that we use. Like I had one midnight black jig that I was so nervous of losing because I did really well on it most of the season. I did lose it, and it was a sad day. But then I got more to replace it.
Yeah, I love that color with the Beast Coast. It's like a bluegill pattern. I forget the exact name of it. I'd have to go see it. But it's like
Yeah,
blue and it's got like black stripes in it. It's really nice. It's like literally the only color I have tied on all time.
I got you. They have some great colors. For me, it's black, black and blue, green pumpkin, and then I don't ever really throw like for a swim jig white. So I think 99% of my stuff is black and blue or black and green pumpkin. Simple guy.
You find yourself tying off during events, or do you stick with the set that you predict and bring?
I'm a freak and I bring a rod for everything. I'll bring 15 rods sometimes, and sometimes I will retie if I have to, but it's nice to be fully prepared for everything. But I think some of my favorite tournaments are the ones where I could bring a chatterbait, I could bring a flipping jig, I can bring a Texas rig, and then a drop shot. That's it. That's all you need. But I usually end up, I'll bring 2 chatterbaits, 1/3, 1/2 ounce. Then I'll bring 2 flipping jigs, 1/3, 1/2 ounce. And I'll bring 3 different Texas rigs. Like, it gets ridiculous.
Hey, whatever works for you, right?
Or it doesn't.
I mean, you have the space for it. You got a pretty good
Yeah, yeah.
setup.
Right. I literally have made and designed stuff that I sell that I'm able to put more rod holders on my boat. And I have fed into other people's addiction that way too.
Yeah, well, I'll attach your business at the bottom when we put this up.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can shout it out at the end. I got a little spot for your socials. Nada, have you fished there? That's third on the list.
That's another one that I haven't fished. I honestly I know nothing about.
Yeah, it's far out west, Pittsfield. So that's out there near like Otis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know nothing about that lake either. I haven't, looked it up. I haven't done anything.
Sometimes those are the funnest events. It's like exploring. You're, Christopher Columbus without all the negativity.
Yeah, last year I just made it a point. I wanted to fish as many events as possible. I did a few back-to-back weeks, and I would say probably 7 or 8 events in the central, western, northern. I just went and never pre-fished. I showed up that morning in the pitch dark, not knowing what I was getting into. I love pre-fishing. It kind of it just makes me feel better going into an event. Like I know where to go at least, or I have an idea. But some of those events out west, you're right. It was like a little adventure. You kind of wake up on the lake. You're on the lake when it's dark, and then as it's getting light out, you kind of like realizing where you are. Like, holy shit! Like,
Right. Also,
cool
it kind of puts your skills at test when you're looking at graphs and stuff beforehand, and you're doing your internet research because you can't make it out there to practice. But I mean, if you can, you should always practice. But a lot of guys don't have the time, and they still crush it.
Yeah, do you like you said earlier that you fish these lakes 100 times over, but do you still pre-fish for an event? Are you that like
If I
committed?
can, I will.
Yeah, me too.
If I can, I 100% will.
I mean, it's just more fishing, right?
It's more fishing. Things change, right? Like sometimes it hurts you. That's crazy. Like John's Pond. So last year, just for another example of John's Pond, last year for the tournament, I was able to get out a week prior or something. Can't remember. And it was late in the season, and sometimes smallies will come up on beds late in the season. Oh, not sometimes, a lot of times, but it is like the last hurrah. And I had crushed. I was bed fishing. Nobody else was, bed fishing. This is during practice. There were a couple of guys there. Then come tournament day, they weren't on beds anymore. They were gone. So I spent, a good chunk of time like trying to figure out, oh crap, where'd they go? They're just off beds now. They're post, not going to bite. Then you got to try to, you're scrambling. Sometimes it hurts. I guess it all depends on how you practice. If you dial in a bite, that could go away. You always got to have plan, B and C.
Yeah, a lot of variables. That's what I love about it. Little puzzle. You put all these stuff together, and hopefully it makes sense.
That's what a lot of people don't get. It's an infinite amount of variables. Like there's just you never know what's going to happen. The weather, the pressure, like just time of year, water temp, algae bloom. I don't know. It's an endless cycle of puzzles. It's amazing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I love it. It never gets old. I wish I could fish for like a job 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
Yeah, I'm trying. I wish.
A
Just
cold
get
brook.
health insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been to Coldbrook. I actually just looked this up. So I was on the border of Connecticut. Looks, from what I remember, I don't have it up right now. It looked like a reservoir style, so that should be interesting too.
Yeah, that was another one, like I said, that they suggested from NH. They were really excited about that one. I guess that specific
Nice.
area. You can fish in the Connecticut part, but you got to launch in the Mass side.
I gotcha. That's
And
not too bad at all then.
no, yeah, I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they said. So then we got the Charles, the fan favorite Charles. I think we had like what
Yeah.
9? I think I pulled up 9 past tournaments that MAKB did at the Charles.
MAKB loves rivers, man. Holy smokes. It's crazy. They've been to the Charles so much. It's funny. The Charles is a fun, it can be a fun place. A lot of people have, love-hate relationships with it, but it's an ever-evolving body of water. It's funny how that works. Like some places are on fire and then some are not. And the next season, it's like the fish completely moved, but they didn't because they're all damn blots.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I grew up in the city, but like, it's Boston. It's like, oh snap, you're gonna be like in like not the ghetto, but like, urban environment and like you're still catching bass. So like to me, that's really exciting. And then you go and fish it and man, it's just every town offers something completely different. Like every section is different.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's amazing and it's crazy. I've only come to know one section just because like the last couple of years I haven't had time to go out and fun fish. It's always either been pre-fishing or actual tournament. But
I swear I fished the entire Charles. Minus, I've never been to the Esplanade, but there's so much of that river, and like you said, each section is different. I think last one I fished, the water was low, really low. So I mean that plays into it too. But I mean, like any place that you could put a flipping stick in my hand, flipping stick, chatterbait, like it's a great fishery.
well, seems that every like about mid 80s was like the average win. And then
Yeah,
the last event, I mean, you crushed it. You did. Well, in 2020, Joe DiDeo hit 89.
yeah.
But yeah, you crushed it. You had 93 on the last time we were there for MAKB. No, I'm sorry, 92.5. And then Matt was 89.75 right behind you.
Dude, he was sneaking up on me quick.
I think I was fishing near Matt. I think he was fishing in my section, but he was fishing more downstream.
Yeah. I had fished a completely new place because I had been burned by places that I've been way too many times on the Charles. I've never really done well on the Charles River. I just I found a spot that I've never heard anybody talk about. I've never really I don't know anything about it. And then half the day I wasted so much time exploring to come back to find to fish the same spots that I had caught fish earlier in the day. Like it was insane. The water was so low to the point where sections of rapids that I would pull my kayak through. Like it was just it was fun exploring, but I wasted half the day. But
Well, I wouldn't
yeah,
say you wasted. You took fell advantage of the other half. Like,
imagine if I didn't,
yeah,
try to explore as much as I possibly could. I had guys telling me like, "What are you doing with that big kayak up here?" I'm like, "I don't know. Does it get deeper?" Like, they're like, there was 2 kids and I mean kids in like those bendable, foldable kayaks, and they're scraping bottom, and I'm like, "What the hell am I doing?" So I wasted. I'd imagine if I didn't spend that time trying to explore.
were you
It could have
jigging them
been.
and flipping in there?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the water was clear. I was flipping to sections of pads, that were left, and just watching fish come out, eat my jig. It was a blast.
Yeah, May August. I'd never want to fish there in April, but I love that August tournament there. I always look forward to it. We have 3 stops there on the Charles this year in the state.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I plan on hitting all of them. That is the
We'll
goal.
see. Yeah, yeah.
Manchug. How do you That's the next one. That's a good one.
So back in the day, like 4 years ago, when KFL was around, and we had an event against or the Maulers had an event against Bay State, I think, at Manchug. So it was me, Mike Marcone, Derek, Matt, and myself, and the bite sucked. It was tough. Then we had a thunderstorm roll in, and Mike and myself watched Matt and Derek cast to the same submerged weed bed, and they started pulling out 5-pounders like every other cast. It was the most insane 15 minutes of fishing I've ever witnessed. Like Derek and I were like, Derek and I were next to each other, but Mike and I were looking at each other like, what the hell are we doing wrong? And Matt and Derek are just casting out and just reeling back, and boom, 20, boom, 19 and a half, like just giant fish, and they crushed it. It was insane. So I know the place gets a lot of pressure, stuff like that. I think, most bodies of water do in Massachusetts. but I know there's big fish in there. I saw them, and I think the Bay State had like a 21 or something. They also had some big fish, so they're in there. Regardless, it might be a tough bite, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like Manchug. And then we got Cohituate. That usually
Chichuit,
fishes well.
it fishes okay. It can be a real tough. That place, you know, it's fished 3-4 days a week from tournaments. Like it gets crazy, and then the boat traffic gets insane. But it's okay. It's a good tournament. Like I guess there's a lot of water, but it can be tough. But that's what makes these things fun, is trying to figure it out every time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we rounded out right on the Connecticut River. How do you feel about that location for the
So
championship?
that one's Barton's Cove as well as the Oxbow. Yeah. I think it's cool. I'm not mad at it. I mean they both fish okay. I think they get a lot of pressure as well.
How far are the
I have
locations apart? Like, could you reach one location from the other?
No, I don't think you can. I think it's pretty far.
Yeah, I've never fished the Connecticut River.
Yeah, I've never fished Barton's Cove. I fished the Oxbow, but Connecticut River's cool. It's fun. I mean, curious to see who they both can be tough. It's bass fishing. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I just hope the tournament, the championship rather, is the TOC is a little closer mid Massachusetts next year.
Yeah, I'll put a word in with the Mass Bass guys.
Yeah. Please do.
Do you like fishing lakes or rivers? Like, do you have a preference?
Give me it all, man.
Yeah.
I love scoping, love shaking a minnow, love throwing it on open water sniper, but I love a good heavy rod in my hand. I love flipping. I absolutely, I tell me that when you are watching a fishing video and you see some guy flipping, whether he's flipping docks, grass edges, whatever, and you see them set the hook and you hear, it doesn't give you goosebumps. And then when you're hooked on a fish and you're playing it and you hear from the line coming through the water, I got goosebumps thinking about it right now. Like, but at the same time, when you're scoping them, you're like, oh my God, that's a giant. You cast out to it and you're like, eat it. And then you're on, and then you have friggin' 20-inch bass. You know, you got to fight them from like 60 feet out, 70 feet out, and you watching this thing jump. You're like, stay down. You can't. Like, does that knock on scopes? The scoping, go kick rocks, dude. It's because you don't live it. It's fishing.
Right.
Oh man, I love both. I can't. Yeah, I can't. If I had to pick, gun to my head, I'd have a heavy rod in my hand.
Yeah, it
which is
didn't
funny
matter
because a lot of guys, a lot of guys think like, oh, you're a deep water guy. I'm like, nah, you can think that, but give me punching mats, flipping jigs, can't beat it.
Yeah, I think that's the greatest sound in bass fishing, is that tight line when you hook up on a fish.
Oh my God, it's orgasmic.
I know. It's amazing. I just
Yeah.
I don't want too many people to know it, because then I don't want too many people fishing, you know? I kind of keep it to myself.
Oh, man.
Sweet.
If you're having a bad day and you hear that sound, it changes everything, or at least for that short period of time, you know?
Yeah, even if it's not a big fish, it feels like, you know, I just love that. I love braided.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I've fished my whole life, but I've only really started like back into it like 5-6 years. And then I've been following MAKB for 5 years. I've been a member of the group, but I never got a chance to actually fish it. But yeah, I remember 3 years ago, I was still fishing frogs with mono, you know, and I remember Hook having a huge bass blow up, and I lost it, and I was like, he stretched the line. Like, that's exactly what it was. I went home that day. I was like, never again. I'm never throwing a frog. And I go right to 50-pound braided. I mean, it's only 12-pound diameter, but I love the super, the Power Pro V.
I gotcha. Power 2, it's good stuff.
Freaking.
For me, at least, there's no place for mono and how I fish. I mean, the only niche thing I might do it is if like I want a little bit of floating stretchiness when I'm dragging a Carolina rig, but I don't drag a Carolina rig that often around here. So it's like it. I think I have like 20-pound mono in my leader box, but it's got dust on it, you know?
Is there, out of all the spots that we listed, is there one that you're most excited about?
I want the trout eater from John's. He's in there, dude. I wish you guys could understand how big this thing. It was a big girl, just a bucket mouth.
I'm definitely excited for the trail this year.
Yeah, I can't wait. I am so excited to fish.
Ben's Tackle Shack
for my
Buffinville first spot.
What is it?
April 4th, first Saturday of April, is Ben's Tackle Shack at Buffinville. It's the first official tournament of the season.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad, the Ben's guys all have their thing. I feel weird if I jump in there and take a spot to somebody who's been consistently fishing that, you know?
Yeah, and they definitely don't, they fill up, they only have like 20, 25 spots. I didn't know this, that
Yeah,
they
I
allow
know.
john boats. I did not know
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, they'll allow a john boat, which is, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but it's kayaks, How do you feel about Ari's trail doing 2 motors?
I'm indifferent. I don't care. I mean, I have 2 motors. I don't know if I'll use 2. Um, I mean, it's cool. Do you, boo. It's just it doesn't bother me none. It makes sense. I know when I was running, NK 180, and then I had a 24-volt motor guide in the front, and I would use those for practice, for EKF and stuff. I was able to cover a crazy amount of water with that NK 180. It was absolutely nuts. So I get it. It makes sense. But for like a local Massachusetts tournament, I don't think I will. Just because like I remember one specific incident when I was not incident, but I was fishing EKF and I was practicing on Lake Oneida. I did 22 miles with the motor combination. And that's because I was able to stay at a low or decent throttle, not 100% with the NK 180, just to cover so much water. But what lake am I going to cover 22 miles in Massachusetts? We're not fishing the Quabbin.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, anything else you wanna bring up before we give you a shout out for your sponsors and socials?
I guess, just everybody remember what this community is about. Remember that we're all brothers. We need community more than ever in these insane times. So just, be positive, help each other, help one another, have fun, tight lines.
Yeah, well said, man. You have any socials or sponsors you want for people wanna follow you or to shout out?
Man, I'm dumping my socials, man. So I do go on my Instagram, JXF Fishing, JX_fishing. I'm trying to be on there a little more. I'll probably try to really boast my fishing presence, just because I'm pulling myself out from all the other personal social media stuff. And then I have Tackle Tech 3D. You can go to Tackle Tech 3D, go to Tackle Tech 3D Instagram page. I make 3D printed parts for kayaks. I love to do custom stuff, and I have some stuff that I could print on demand. You probably see the printer in the background going right now. So check that out, pick something up. Or if you have ideas, here's another thing. If you have ideas or you need something for a platform, say you just got the new canoe and there's something that they don't have an accessory for, let me know. I could probably get my hands on somebody's new canoe and build something out, and then I'll give it to you at a discount if you're the person who has the idea or has a design that I could build off of.
That's awesome. Yeah, good stuff too. I mean, I hear great things about it. I definitely reached out to you. I just kind of sheep, and I don't have an unlimited amount of funds, so I have these big dreams and all this, and I financially they never come to fruition.
Yeah, I totally understand, and I try to keep my things relatively priced because I know how the economy and everything is. Say like some things are hard, like the new canoe, the U10. Yeah, the U10 platform in the back. There's a battery platform that I made and designed. Everything with it takes almost 20 hours to print, and it's a lot of plastic. So there's all the time that it goes into it is taking up a printer, then it's taking up more than one roll of plastic, then the electricity. Like it's just some things I can't,
For sure.
but some things I can. And I mean, hey, if you have an idea or something that's functional and I can make and it's your idea, you get the credit and you get the discount.
That's awesome. Hey, I know you're looking forward to being on the water this year, man. You're probably speaking for a lot of people, but the community comments, you hit it right on the noggin too. I think once people get on the water, hopefully things will quiet down a little bit. Or maybe there
Yeah,
might be maybe no
it's
animosity.
I hope not. I mean, just remember we're in little plastic boats. There's no room for ego in those things. So
I know, and we're
I
fishing.
mean,
This is what it's all about, man. We're not, this is not like life or death. We're out there supposedly having fun.
yeah. Like I said at the beginning of my season last year, I was just fishing, and I was performing the best because I wasn't worried about anything. I was just having a blast, just fishing. That's what we're doing. And then if we could just keep a positive community around that, man, it's just unbelievable. I know everybody needs a community, and we have one. So let's keep it going and keep our community happy.
Well said, man. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with us. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Jason. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We'll see you at the winner's circle and get you back on here. Try to give you
Yeah,
some,
we'll see.
give you
Who
some
knows? I
juice.
might suck next year. I might suck next year. You never know.
I doubt it. I'd still put my money on you.
Maybe I do well, but other people do better. How's that?
There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
good luck, man. I hope you have a great season and you knock it out.
Thanks. See you guys.
Yes, sir.